Cowboys Nation, Jerry Jones did it again. Season is in peril. Dak is out for the season. And what do we do as an organization? We make a crazy trade that doesn't make sense. But hey, it sent shockwaves in the NFL universe. And man, it's such a Jerry thing to do. So before we get into the topic, can you please drop a like, subscribe to the channel? Thank you. I'm your boy Mecca Mike, the Cowboys loving anime fan. Man. So the Dallas Cowboys have officially traded a fourth round pick to bring in wide receiver Jonathan Mingo from the Carolina Panthers. And in this video, we're going to dive into Mingo's background, the pros and cons of this trade, and what Jerry could have been envisioning in making this move. So let's get to it. Well, let's start with Jonathan Mingo's background. Who is Jonathan Mingo, and why did the Cowboys think he's worth the investment? Well, Mingo played college ball at Ole Miss, where he built a reputation as one of the most physical wide receivers in the SEC. Standing at 6'2", 220 pounds, Mingo is known for his strength and his aggressive play style, traits that he used to his advantage as he broke tackles and made contested catches. During his senior season, Mingo racked up 800 receiving yards and multiple touchdowns, showcasing his ability to dominate both short and deep routes. Despite not being a first round draft pick, he showed enough potential to be picked up by the Carolina Panthers in the second round, where he flashed glimpses of his physical, relentless approach to the game. Well, we all know he's been traded, so things obviously didn't work in Carolina with Bryce Young. But now, with the Dallas Cowboys bringing him in, he has a chance to develop into a critical weapon for Dak Prescott next year. So let's now talk about the pros of trading for Jonathan Mingo. What does he bring to the Dallas Cowboys? And why did Jerry Jones believe he was worth trading a fourth round pick? Well, first off, Mingo's physicality and size are exactly what Dallas needs to balance its receiving core. While CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks, who probably won't be here next year, offer speed and route running precision, Mingo adds a new dimension with his strength and size. He's a receiver who can battle for those tough yards after the catch, or yak, and handle physical coverage. He's especially useful in the high stakes scenarios where the Cowboys need a guy to make contested catches and won't be pushed around easily. Mingo's versatility is also a huge asset. He can play inside or outside, allowing the Cowboys to mix up their offensive schemes and make defense and keep defenses guessing. With his skill set, Dak Prescott now has a big target for crucial third down conversions where every yard counts. For a mid round pick, this trade gives Dallas a promising young receiver who is one, cheap, and two, still on his rookie deal. Both things Jerry loves. And he can make an impact now and continue to develop in the coming seasons. And finally, at just 22 years old, Mingo still has time to improve. His raw athleticism combined with the Cowboys coaching, which more than likely next year Cowboys gonna have a new coach that will actually be able to use their wide receiver skill set, unlike what Mike McCarthy's doing. This could be a formula for turning him into a star player in Dallas. For a team that's pushing to make a deep playoff run next year, the potential payoff here could be well worth the investment. But again, we're just going to have to see. No, let's talk about the cons of trading for Jonathan Mingo. And of course, with any trade, there are potential downsides. For starters, Dallas gave up a fourth round pick, which is a valuable asset in terms of bringing in young talent at other needed positions. For me personally, giving up a fourth round pick was an overspend. Plus, we've seen Jerry do this before. They gave a lot for Trey Lance, a fourth round pick, to replace Dak Prescott, and it didn't pan out. The Cowboys could have used that pick to address their depth on defense or reinforce the offensive line or get another wide receiver in the draft who was younger, faster, more athletic, bigger. But by trading for Mingo, you're placing a bet on him as an immediate contributor. Something that's not guaranteed for a player still early in his career, and possibly you're closing the door on trying to get maybe a better wide receiver in the top 3 rounds because you bet on Mingo, thinking at least we have a guy that we liked before instead of going with the unknown. And for me, it's not smart because my football philosophy is that if the season is over and you're relying on the draft anyway, then why trade for a guy that will eventually be cut, or you could have gotten for a fifth, sixth, or possibly a seventh round pick? Why overspend? And while Mingo showed potential in Carolina, he's yet to establish himself as a reliable starter in the NFL. Size alone isn't everything. And if you can't catch consistently in the NFL, which he's had issues doing, why trade for that guy? Especially if it takes time for him to fully integrate with your system. And then now Dak's out for the season, so it's going to take a while for you to really get him in sync with Dak. You got to really bet on next year for it. But unfortunately, like a lot of players, Jerry Jones loves these projects and he invests in guys, and a lot of them don't pan out, like John Stevens and a Jalen Smith. And in a season where Dallas is aiming for immediate results next year, this might pose a short term risk and box you into saying, oh, now I got to use this guy and make it work. Don't want to put yourself in situations like that. But that's what the Cowboys do. Now, let's talk about Jerry's mindset in making this trade. I know it's a little scary, but let's talk about it. So, Jerry has always been a risk taker, more often losing than winning, especially when it comes to players with high potential. And trading for Jonathan Mingo reflects that. Jerry and the Cowboys management, aka just Jerry Jones, likely saw Mingo as a very high upside addition who, with the right coaching, could develop into a consistent impact player. And for just a fourth round pick, which is a very important pick, Jerry might see Mingo as a long term investment that could pay big dividends for the offense next year. There's also the immediate impact to consider. Jerry basically threw away this season and is gearing up to be competitive next year. And the Cowboys have playoff aspirations. So I guess this is part of that plan. But again, for me, this doesn't seem like a smart move, especially since he gave up a high fourth round pick. That's where most of the gems in the NFL draft are in general. And I know you could trade some fifths since we have a bunch of them to get a fourth again, but putting yourself in a position to give up more to just get back to where you already were just doesn't make sense to me. By adding Mingo, Jerry is likely thinking that about, oh, I gave Dak this big target like Des Bryant to make the offense more dynamic and keep defense on their toes. I get it. Plus, bringing in a young physical player like Mingo is going to add excitement to the team, and it keeps Cowboys fans engaged. Whether it's good engagement, bad engagement, Jerry's just always been known for making moves that keep Dallas in the spotlight. And this trade is no different, unfortunately. But again, we'll see how everything pans out. So there you have it, an inside look at the Cowboys' decision to trade for Jonathan Mingo. We covered his background, the potential benefits, the risks involved, and as well as what Jerry Jones might have been thinking with making this move. Now I want to hear from you guys. Do you think the Mingo trade was worth sending a fourth round pick? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for all things Cowboys. I'm your boy Mecca Mike. That's Meccha Mike, and I'm out.